Hello and welcome to Teaching Doing Teaching. Yes, I'm wearing a leather jacket, but that's just because it's really cold in here and I just want to stay warm. I have like 3 layers on right now because I reverted back into the garage, as most people like to call the shed. And yeah, so I am currently trying to find active players to talk to regarding reviewing, teaching, so forth, when I have time. I'm done with the college quarter, but at the beginning of April I'm going to be starting the next quarter, as well as a part-time job at Clark, along with work study. Alright, enough about me. So for today I'm going to go over some things regarding 20 to new player queue rank. This is a game between a Hellobot 9, Hellobot, not a Hellobot 9, and a anonymous 25 queue. It's just a game that I found and decided that I would talk about because I've been having some issues trying to find a 20 queue or weaker to be on at the same time as me to go over a game. So I'm just going to talk about this game, a 9x9 of a 25 queue, as well as, with the same player, a 13x13 board. So with this game, black is the 25 queue, white is the bot. Regarding a 9x9 board, this is okay. This is a nice 4th line stone. So the 3rd line is generally for territory, and the 4th line is usually for influence or really large side territories. So this stone is saying that it wants points on this side, as well as getting some influence to get some stones out here. Now what I mean by influence is some extra stones, some potential of getting more stones to build a wall, to spread out, or to build a framework. I'll talk a little about that as we go on with this. So we've got this 4th line here. This stone is saying that he wants this side, as well as either the top or the bottom. Either way, black is going to be getting quite a bit. There is also the potential of building up on the left side, but at the current time, that might not be an option as of right now. White's move is a 3-3, so it's a solid, very solid corner. There's nothing that black can do to take the corner away. If black wanted to try doing an attachment, it would be just the same thing. So we don't want to try invading a 3-3 point like this in the opening. Well, in the opening, you never want to invade in general, but to show that the 3-3 point is a very, very solid corner enclosure, corner move that is going to be really hard to kill off. If it was at the 4-4, 4 up and 4 across, then this invasion is a possibility for a later time. Although it'd probably be nice right here. But anyway, very solid move for white in the corner. Whoops. And this is what happens in the game. I want to say instead play here. Or, well, this move, if you want to build the top. plus an extra move up here to make sure that you have this area, or even right here, to build up on the top, or to play where I just put that triangle, play here instead, so you can build up this corner, and maybe have something like this happen. But this attachment, it's got the same idea of wanting to build up here as well as attacking, but attachments are not necessarily good to do in the opening. So regarding attachments, the key thing to remember about it is that it makes your opponent stronger. It also makes yourself stronger, but it always makes your opponent stronger first. So in regards to liberties, black has 3, white has 3. And in the attachment, white has the opportunity to play next. So with a Hane, black now has 2 liberties, while white gets a few extra. And let's say black played elsewhere. If white were to play here, white would be spread out a lot more and not be surrounded. If white were to Atari in the other direction, it's the same idea. And this is to protect the cut. It is okay to play here or here, anything to protect that cut, because this can be really big. But regarding attachments, it just makes your opponent stronger, and you don't get as much potential. Like if you were to play here, if black were to play here, black is getting some potential walls to build up this upper area. Now, white does decide to ignore that attachment, and that is a huge bad move, along with black's next move. I mean, it's not a bad move, but black can do better. What black can do is punish white by playing another move against that stone. Because if white ignores again, this is huge. If white were to do this, then you can threaten. You can threaten. You can threaten. At this point, attaching might be okay, because you're splitting off your opponent and threatening to attack 2 different groups. So, if anything from this whole video, think about the attachments. You don't want to attach to your opponent. Otherwise, it's going to make your opponent stronger and have more potential to attack first. I'm going to stop squeaking against the jacket. And if you make an attachment and your opponent doesn't respond, continue with the attachments, because it will be big. Because now you have the 5 liberties while your opponent only has 2. And it's likely that you can capture the whole corner for yourself. And I won't go into detail of that until later. For the game, black plays here, and then white comes back to protect the corner. This Hane is good. White's next move, though, it gets rid of the idea of black wanting this whole area. So maybe playing here instead. Because if you look at the board right now, all of black's stones are in the middle. The shape is kind of okay, I would say, I guess, but white's corner in the bottom left is very strong, as well as the C7 stone corner. So white is free to go anywhere, and black's only possible territory is on the right side. So white decides to take the corner after black takes the Hane. So if black were to instead play either E3 or F3, then black will be able to keep some of that territory. And then white's only option is to play this. So also regarding this move, it's also focused on the middle. So in the first 9-10 moves, black was worried too much about the center. And now white has all of this potential to have territory on all corners. In a game of Go, any board size, you get the most points in the corners first, and then the sides, then the center. So if we do our 6 or let's do the 8 stone test. If you already know about this test, then you're a master at it. You got it. But we need to make sure to bring it up. No, let's make it a 6. But we want to keep this in mind always, any rank, because corners are always biggest. You always want to go for the corners first for your territory, and then the sides, and then the center. Do not worry about the center until later times. So with the corner, 6 stones to surround points, and that leaves black with 9 points. On the side, that's 4 points. In the center, 2. So we want to go for the corners first. That is where you will get more points in one turn, let's say. So if black plays here, we can say that in the corner, not regarding the center, if this was a bigger board, on the 4-4, this could be 9 to 10 points. On the side, that's about 4 points. In the center, you maybe get 2 points. So you want to worry about the corners before the center for sure. Sides, well, on a 9x9, corner and side is basically the same thing, but anyway. So this move is okay, but black could play here instead, because white still needs to respond. All of that is in Sente for black. And what I mean by Sente is that all of these moves threaten to capture white. So this is Sente because it threatens to take the corner as well as cut off white. So white has to play here to protect that. This is Sente to take the 1 stone and to make the group even weaker. This is Gote by filling up the Atari. This is both Gote and Sente. What I mean by that is that it's protecting that C8 stone, but what it also is doing is threatening to play here. Because with this, it can capture white's group by poking out the eye. So all of this would be in Sente for black, and then white would protect that by connecting. And now, with all of those Sente moves, black now has this really thick wall and these two stones, and can now play out to the side to attack this stone. You want to look at the board as a whole. You don't want to look at just the upper right corner or the center. You want to look at everything. Like here, these two moves were Sente to threaten this corner, but now, because of all of these moves, you are able to attack this stone. When you find a Sente move, see if you can find another Sente move, and see which one might look better. Another thing I want to point out is the first line. On the first line, you probably shouldn't play that at all in the opening or middle game, unless it's Sente to threaten a group. Anything on the first line, hold until the end game or to attack. Sure, this can attack, but it gives up Sente, because if white plays here and black blocks, white can play over here to connect and to spread out while preserving those points. So first line is also really easy to lose Sente. So what black can do instead to keep Sente is play here. Play where your opponent is weakest. Some things to think about are, well, this set of 3 questions, I didn't come up with them, someone else did, but I do not recall where it comes from. So I apologize for that. But this is a common saying for these 3 questions. Number 1, am I okay? If the answer is no, fix it. So in this case, before that move, black is okay. There's not really anything to fix. Number 2, is my opponent okay? Does my opponent have any weak groups? If the answer is yes, attack it. So if we look at this, white does have a few groups that needs attention. For example, black can play here, and white will need to respond here. And you can do the same thing again. And again. And again. And again. Those are all examples for that. And there's also this stone. So if you can't see how this group can be weak, then that's okay. Eventually, as you play Go more, you'll be able to see it more by imagining before being played there, and if white were to ignore that. And the other thing I want to mention is this move is actually multi-purposed. When playing Go, also on any board, you want to try having multiple reasons for playing that move. For example, this one, it threatens to play d2 next if white were to ignore it and capture the corner. What it also does is prevent white from connecting by playing b4 to save the c7 stone. And it threatens to, and it makes another way to get under white's group by playing, let's say, white plays that. Black can play this or this to get underneath and poke out white's eyes. And again, here can be instead here, or attacking that corner. This one's just Gote. White can play anywhere and still be okay. By 1 liberty. No, 2. A few. By a few liberties. Like that. This move is okay, because it does threaten to get rid of white's eyes. Same with this. Instead, play here, though. Playing down, it lets white play here and take a few more points on the side. Don't let white do that. Take the bigger point. Be a little more greedy. Yes, greediness can be bad, but not in this case. In this case, black is safe and it threatens white's group. Because right now, white... Let's say white ignored again. Black can actually first threaten to cut and then play here. Where are white's eyes? Whoops. With this, white has no eyes at all. So, this is much more beneficial than G1. Here, probably shouldn't ignore that. Just go ahead and take it. Or play here, at least. Because that is really big. And this is also bigger than D1. So, this is about endgame, and we want to make sure that we get the most out of the endgame that we can. Black has a few options. I'll leave 6 up for now. So, black can either play here to prevent a few more points in here if white were to play here instead of black playing there, or just playing here for this, or there is attaching here to protect that stone as well as threatening the upper group, or there is small endgame where you save a point. So the bottom is worth 1 point. Excuse me. 5 is actually worth 2 points. 3 and 4 are also maybe 2-3 points. But this is maybe 5 points, because if black protects, the white does need to respond because of life and death. If white were to respond, black can play here. It would be Seki. And if you don't know what Seki is, it's when you have one spot, here it's B2, where if one plays it, the other will be captured. If white goes there, black captures. If black plays there, white captures. Either way, the other will live. So with this, white gets no points, black gets no points. Well, white gets the 1 point, but this is no longer all whites. So this definitely has a lot more potential than 1 point. As white, probably go ahead and play here. And again, with this, sure, you're going into the corner, but this is worth a lot up here. Like, you can play that and then come down here again. Whoops. There we go. And do this. But go bigger. Try to think about what is going to be bigger. Think more than just single points. C1 is a single point. In comparison of what white gained and what black reduced, white got more. Because now white has all of that corner, and white lost 5 points. 5 points in the corner, 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 in the upper left. And here you don't want that to happen. Self-Atari. Always watch for that. Never put yourself in self-Atari. But I do want to mention that you also want to make sure that you don't put yourself in double Atari, like this. It's very common to see with newer players. So just always keep an eye on that. And if you do get into double Atari, fix the bigger group. And another problem with this is, if you don't know, it's a possible snapback for white. Sure, white can play here and black takes. But if white were to take B1, black takes, white takes. Black takes, white takes. And you don't want that to happen. So as black in this position, probably best to just attach here. Or maybe here. That way you can take back and make it ko. But yeah, that's those things. Always want to watch for these things. Always take your time in your games. Don't rush. Don't rush through things. And you can also push in through here, because white can't play here. Because you can just put that in Atari and still have an extra move to do something else. So that's all I am going to say about this game. I did talk more than I wanted to with it. But now I'm going to go over to the 13 by 13.